All right. What's up? Welcome to part two of the Team Stronger Together podcast. This is episode number two, part two. And right now we're going to work on the topic that we cover each week of social justice. And I have two different aspects of social justice I would like to cover. Last week I shared 7 really important skills that are important as we move further and further into the artificial intelligence age, the technology disruption age, biotechnology disruption. So here we go. I'm going to share them again, but a little more in detail. And then I have a video to emphasize what we're talking about. All right. The first skill we want to develop is the skill of how you do anything is how you do everything, meaning a lot of times when it's hard or difficult or new, I don't put my best effort into it. I save that for what's easy for me or what I'm used to doing. And I'm asking all of us, me included, to develop the skill of no matter what comes into your life, no matter what new situation happens, that you put your best effort into it, and you will build the habit of, whether it's easy or difficult, you will put your best effort into it and make gains, whether small or big, which allows you to help yourself develop the skill of perseverance, of not giving up, of what we say in education speak of resiliency. Perseverance is a skill that we can learn. And lastly, whatever you do, get good at it, because there will be more and more work for people that like to learn, that like to gain new skills, that like to get good at those skills. That's really what's going to make a big difference as we move more and more into artificial intelligence, which is not just robots, it is technology um, taking the place of human interaction, human labor. All right, here's the second one. We need to develop the skill of focus. Focus is hard to come by with 24/7 information through many devices, many avenues of information uh, giving, and we have to learn how to focus. We have to develop the skill of curiosity, like, asking questions and stuff that's new. Ask stuff, figure it out, want to know new things. Develop the skill of self-starting. Unfortunately, our education system spends a lot of time of telling you where to sit and what to think and when to pee and all of that. We want to learn the skill of self-starting. Why? Because when you become a self-directed learner, you will start to acquire as much in the way of skill and knowledge as possible on your own. We can start this as soon as possible. The sooner the better. The more that you like to learn stuff on your own, and then of course you get help as you need it, that makes you a powerful person. This new wave of careers require fast learners who can figure things out as they go. To help make this point, I have Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, Dr. Kaifu Lee, and Dr. Daniel Goleman giving a heads up as to why gaining emotional intelligence skills, mental wellness skills are really life skills for a lifetime. All right, here we go. What investment should we make in our education is the question they asked Dr. Yuval Noah Harari.
The best investment, I would say, is in emotional intelligence and in mental balance and these kinds of skills of how to keep changing throughout your life, how to keep learning throughout your life. We don't have a college degree in mental flexibility, but these are the most important tools. So whatever you choose, you can go to law school, you can go to ballet school, but you should keep in mind that much of what I'm learning might be irrelevant in 20 or 30 years. So whatever else I'm doing, I should also invest in developing my emotional intelligence, my mental balance, my ability to keep changing and learning and reinventing throughout my life.
This is Dr. Kaifu Lee. Dr. Kaifu Lee is, hold on, let me go to him. My bad. Dr. Kaifu Lee is an investor into companies, startup companies that use a lot of artificial intelligence. There's a point in his part of the talk where he's talking about a near-death experience that really enlightened him about how he can best serve the world. And he overcame cancer, healed from cancer, and it taught him during that time of crisis, like, what's important is my family, the love of my love for them, as well as how can I serve humanity? How can I serve others as opposed to just building companies, which is what he mostly did before. All right. So those two things, what he's saying is like, don't wait for a crisis to get hip to what's going to help you during this age of artificial intelligence. Like, let's learn this stuff now. All right, here we go.
Knowing that the purpose of life is to give and receive love, knowing that you're trying to help people pick jobs that are going to work well with AI, what is that? What should people be thinking about now?
Yeah, I think it actually all works out because if you look at this defensively and say, what are the things that AI cannot do? It really falls into two large buckets. One is jobs that require creativity, strategy, conceptual thinking. And the other is jobs that require compassion, empathy, and human connection. Because you don't want a robot to be a nurse, a doctor, a nanny, an elderly caretaker. So it turns out the latter bucket is the only bucket large enough for the job displacement. I think for the next 20 to 25 years, people's values are what they are. As much as I have come out and realized my life can't be just about work, there are many who will not have that death-driven epiphany, so they won't realize it, and so it is important for them to find a new beginning, and it is really serendipity that the jobs that are large enough in quantity and trainable in a fairly short amount of time are the jobs of compassion. So, so that will be how the routine jobs, when people are displaced out of warehouses, assembly lines, call centers, the job waiting for them with the training will be jobs of compassion. But that won't happen unless the jobs of compassion are understood to be a valuable job and are well paid in the society. So part of in the book is talking about how we can uh, really help that happen because AI won't make someone want to do an elderly caretaker job. It just has to pay better, and that job, that category, elderly caretaker, is going to blossom because people are living longer. People over 80 need 5 times as much care, and yet the 1 million positions open on elderly caretaker are not being filled because the pay is not enough. So AI is going to create, just in the next 12 years, $17 trillion of net value to the world.
So now I want to bring that together with two things you've talked about. So we've got the notion of humans are really going to find their purpose in love, and humans have this desire to chase their dreams. So how do we bring those two things together when dreams are often conflated, rightly or wrongly, with the fame, with the money? How do you help people, maybe even your own kids, like how do you help them see a way to bring those two things together?
I think we really need to think about a different world, that the AI is not only meant to wake up us now to go for the jobs that have more compassion, service jobs, and so on, but also it's meant for education to be changed. I think there are two aspects. I think one is all the kids should be encouraged to really do what they love. It's really important for us not to let the current prejudices or beliefs on these are the good jobs, doctors, lawyers, engineers, these are the good jobs. Well, many of these jobs will be gone too. Within each area, certain jobs will open up, certain jobs will close down. Let's take the medical domain. I think radiologists, dermatologists, in 30 years, they'll be gone. There won't be any more humans doing those jobs. But medical researchers, people who invent the next drug, well, that's going to be what we need. So I think encouraging people to go for the jobs where AI is a tool that amplifies your creativity. That would be the ultimate job to have. But it has to be an education that encourages creativity and an education that helps people go after what they're passionate about.
Wow, I love that. Talk to me about follow through. So a lot of people are going to experiment with a lot of things. They're going to start, they're going to stop, and that's going to become a pattern in their life. Start, stop, start, stop. How do people develop the level of discipline? I'm putting words in your mouth maybe, but discipline or grit to see things through.
Well, I think one part is to recognize that we're not just in a society with other people. We have AI. So we really need, if we really want to be that group of the creatives, the group that have the wind behind their sails with AI as tools, pushing and amplifying their creativity, well, you got to work hard at it, right? I think that's going to have a higher bar than ever before. So that self-motivation, I think, needs to be there. Also, I think you got to be doing something you love to do. I don't think anyone can be amazing unless they're doing what they love. Those two are really combined. I think there was a book by Malcolm Gladwell where he talked about the 10,000 hour rule, and that really continues to be true. So it's got to be that 10,000 hours plus something you're deeply passionate about. And then I would add on top of that, pick something that AI can be put wind in your sails. If you have that, then I think the future will be very, very bright.
So emotional intelligence skills, mental wellness skills, these are skills that they're life skills for a lifetime. All right, and this is Dr. Daniel Goleman talking about the importance of our education system changing and creating a new way of delivering this skill building exercises. All right, we need to do this. Here we go.
In fact, I often talk to business groups and businesses, and if you ask people in business, are emotional intelligence skills necessary for success? The most seasoned people, the top executives, 70-80% will say, oh, of course. Yeah. If you ask educators, they may not know that. Yeah. Because they're taught that, your math and your language skills, which of course are important, is what's going to help you in life. The truth is, though, the data from the business world and the working world is that those are entry-level skills. Everybody has them. You need to have good math skills, of course. But what is going to make you a good team member? What's going to make you an outstanding performer? What's going to make you an excellent leader has nothing to do with what you learned in schools. The distinguishing abilities are in the emotional intelligence domain. Can you persuade? Can you manage yourself well? Can you empathize? Those are the skills that matter in the working world. So I feel that the school curriculum should reflect that, but teach these skills of future leadership, of future, being an effective worker, a good community citizen, a good husband, good wife, good parent. Teach those in school.
Teach them in school, right? We all need them. Let's keep going to the other skills that we want to build to be able to navigate the world of artificial intelligence. All right. We need to develop the skill of work hard. All right. Develop the skill of small and consistent improvements daily. Working hard and being cool with small gains, they go hand in hand because we want instant gratification a lot, We're not willing to just keep putting the work in. And as we move towards our goals, be cool with the moving towards the goals, not just the goal themselves. All right. The math is a 1% improvement every day for a year. At the end of the year, makes me 37 times better than when I started at the beginning of the 365 days. It's compounding, it's important. And this skill goes hand in hand with number one, which is how you do anything is how you do everything. How can I develop this skill? By knowledge journaling. Each day, spend a minimum of 30 minutes researching, gaining knowledge on what interests you every day, and then try to learn and practice a new skill based on that research and knowledge each day. And that will allow you to start gaining mastery over the skills that most interest you. So you get a lot every day of what doesn't interest you, which makes you not excited, and therefore you're not really going at it each day. So why not find stuff that you are excited about and interested in and start spending time with that every day so that you know that you're getting better at it every day. Because what happens when you start having improvements, then you will work harder easier. Working hard becomes more of a habit. However, you can't wait to see the improvements in order to want to work hard. You just got to work hard. You got to put in the knowledge journaling each day. All right. Next, consider taking as many science, engineering, and programming courses as possible. And math is super important. It's related to all of this stuff. In a future featuring more and more robots and artificial intelligence, you want to be designing, maintaining, or supervising them rather than being replaced by them. Even if you don't want to get serious about programming, at least learn how to create and maintain an attractive website, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Just a point of reference, if you are looking at career possibilities or businesses that you want to run or own, but you're not also finding out the relationship of artificial intelligence to that particular career or business, you're messing up. Okay? So anytime you do research on something that you think you're interested in, include the artificial intelligence question. And when you develop the skill of being comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you'll start moving forward. I didn't know anything about technology or really science 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then once I started, man, I've got 1% better every day. Develop the skill of creativity. Develop the skill of problem solving. Creative people will always be in demand. Now, some people argue that creativity cannot be taught. I'll say, yes, some people are more creative than others, but we all have levels of creativity. And most educators believe it can be facilitated, which means encouraged. But if we don't give students open-ended problems and projects, they won't be able to practice and exercise their creative ability. Parents can make this happen too. Lastly, for this, creativity is not just art and music. It is, but it's not just that. If you develop the skill of problem solving and being creative with solving problems, that is a very, very important creativity skill that will translate to any career or business. Now, this one, I'm asking all of us to probably get out of our comfort zone. But in addition to what I just said about creativity, develop basic art skills. Develop the skill, again, of becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. Artistic skills will be in demand. Everything you see on TV, print media, the internet was created in part by artists. If you want to go to, if like art is your thing, make sure you're going to an art school, if that's where you want to go, that it's one where you will spend most of your time developing your artistic ability rather than taking a bunch of liberal arts courses. Now, for all of us, we want to develop the skill of the artistic basics so I can understand the skilled artist better. If I have a business and I don't understand anything about art, then I'm going to have to rely solely on someone that does know. I want to know the basics. It's also going to help me with my website. All right. Lastly, develop the skill of empathy, develop the skill of community building. Why? Because we need to develop our network. Most people get their jobs by way of word of mouth. All right. Now, in addition to working hard to becoming highly skilled and creative, make sure that as many people as possible, in addition to family and friends, know what you can do. And how can you do this? Yes, resumes are good, but much more powerful is put samples of your best work, whatever it is, on your website, which goes back to the other skill, which is being willing and able to develop a website. All right. And then the best way, in addition to those, that you can build a community and build your network is develop the skill of helping others come up. You don't need money. You don't need the title of being a boss to help others come up. We all have different ways that we can help each other. And then once we're in the habit of helping others, others will help us. That's how it works. All right. So, how can we start building? Yes, here we are with the graphic again. These skills are rooted in these 4 life skills that last a lifetime. Once again, my breath work, my ability to react in a productive way to stress, that's my breath work. Am I drinking my water? Am I exercising? Am I getting my sleep? Am I eating right? Those are foundations for all the skills that we've been talking about. Am I living in the power of gratitude? And we're going to do that as the life skills lesson later. Am I catching myself when I'm being negative? Those are all super foundational skills that will help me be dealing with the artificial intelligence revolution that's coming. All right. Think of the last time at your school or in your lifetime in school did you talk about how artificial intelligence is going to affect your life? Probably never. Now, another aspect of social justice that this is really just a primer, meaning a very beginning look at a very serious situation in our schools that's been going on for a long time. And it is, I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to let this wonderful spoken word really start what I want to talk about just for a few minutes here, and then we'll expand on further podcasts. All right, here we go. This is Ashley Davis and Oompah. They share real truth about the school to prison pipeline while performing Simon Says. This is the Poetry Slam. This is the 2016 National Poetry Slam. Here we go.
The game is Simon Says. You know how it goes. When Simon says do an action, you do an action. But you're only supposed to do an action if Simon says. Ready? Simon says, raise your right hand. Simon says, put your right hand down. Simon says, raise your left hand. Put your left hand down.
Oh, Simon didn't say. Y'all look good. Okay, Simon says, put your left hand down now. Cross your arms.
No. Simon didn't say cross your arms. You need to make sure you're listening.
Okay, Simon says, smile. Show us your teeth. You're only as valuable as you are able. Simon says, raise your right hand again. Wave.
Why are you waving? You don't know how to listen? You must not be a good listener at home. Simon says it's not time for a bathroom break. You go when Simon says. Eat when Simon says.
Leave this room when Simon says.
There's only one rule. Only do what Simon says.
Simon says only speak when you are told to speak.
Simon says, speak to your neighbor now.
Why isn't everyone speaking now? You chose to play this game, now you're choosing not to play? How dare you ruin it for everyone else?
Simon says it's still not time for a bathroom break, and stop asking.
Simon says you're not listening.
People that don't listen will never be successful. You know what? They don't even care.
They don't.
Just take out a book and shut up. Read. Simon says read.
Simon says it's time to file in the hallways now, one behind the other.
Straight silent line, tight to the right. Simon says if you can't be silent, how will you hear what Simon is telling you to do?
Silence.
I said be silent. Simon said be silent.
Simon said only 20 minutes to eat your lunch.
don't want to tuck in your uniform? Go sit in the corner.
Simon says if you can't handle this classroom, how will you handle your jail cell?
Simon says you will refer to it as Officer Simon from here on.
And Officer Simon says know your place. Officer Simon says show your teeth, boy. You're only as valuable as you are able. Officer Simon says put your hand down. We don't raise hands here. There are no questions here.
Officer Simon says you must not be a good listener at home.
At this rate, you'll not be going back home.
Officer Simon says you will speak only when you are told to speak. Officer Simon says speak to your cellmate now.
Why aren't you speaking now? You chose to play this game, now you're choosing not to play. How dare you ruin it for everyone else? Officer Simon says it's still not time for a bathroom break, and stop asking. Officer Simon says you're not listening.
People that don't listen will never be successful.
Officer Simon said it's time to file in the hallways again, one behind the other.
Straight silent line, tight to the right. Officer Simon says if you can't be silent, how will you hear what Officer Simon is telling you to do?
Silence!
I said be silent. Officer Simon said be silent. Fix your uniform. Fix your face when you're talking to me. Clean your bunk, you animal. Sit up straight.
I don't care if I didn't say Officer Simon said. Officer Simon said it. So sit up straight.
And be still. Be still. Be still. Officer Simon says if you can't handle your jail cell, how will you handle your casket?
We have to revolutionize the education system. That poem was so. I just need to let it just sit where it's at because it does so much instructing as to the experience that many of our young people experience with school and have for generations. And yet we expect everyone to come to school with just like, oh, a fresh start. It doesn't work like that. That is school in a lot of folks' mind, okay? And the school to prison pipeline is real. And this is just, like I said, an introduction into how we have to change how we do business, okay? Now, last week's podcast episode, I had Dr. Andrew Huberman, talking about what is necessary before we have any of these types of conversations about race and gender inequalities in America, LGBTQ plus oppression, right? Because they're difficult conversations for some people to have because they don't want to have them. So go back to that episode and you'll learn that we need to learn how to like manage our emotions so we can listen. Be self-aware so that we can see where we fit into the equation of making things better. All right. So that's that part of it. In addition, there's a second part to the school to prison pipeline. And here's a little bit more of the video. So we have to revolutionize the education system. Also, there's this fact. 70% of incarcerated youth have an already existing and never addressed mental health condition. So we have to elevate emotional intelligence skills and mental wellness skills equal to academics. We have to. So once again, 65% to 75% of our youth that are incarcerated have a mental health condition. The average onset of mental health condition, like where it begins, is typically like about 14 years of age. That's the average, okay? Now here's the kicker though. The average amount of time between the beginning of a mental health condition, which is let's say 14, and receiving help is 8 to 10 years, if I get any help at all. So I'm not even getting any help until I'm 22, 24 years old, just using the statistics. We have to do better, and it can't be just interventions. Interventions don't always work the way that we want them to. Why? Because if I'm a student and I'm in the office with a very well-meaning administrator or counselor or teacher, and they give me some really good advice, I leave that room. And where do I go? I go to kick it with my friends. And guess who didn't hear the pearls of wisdom or the life knowledge? And now I am supposed to, at 14 years of age, tell my whole crew that, oh, we need to change up our game and follow. So how do we deal with that? We deal with school-wide, building emotional intelligence skills and building mental wellness skills. And for our students that need some extra encouragement via, like, because of whatever, attendance or quote unquote behavior, or needed tutoring, we bring them in. Who's your friends? Okay, so now we bring the whole group of friends in, and they're learning the skills together. The stigma's gone. It's becoming life skills for a lifetime. Do you want to have a business? These skills will help. Do you want to have, like, whatever, like, so you just make it something that they can identify with, and then start feeding the skills, and then they practice them, and now they have a built-in support group because they're all on the same page as much as possible. We spend all of our money in education on interventions. And the interventions are okay, they're good, but they would be actually beneficial if we did everything school-wide, district-wide. Because the reality is, everything that I do at school as a student is based on how I feel about myself, my belief in myself, my belief in how my life will work out, and what abilities and skills do I have to navigate the day. All right. And if I feel like whatever happens to me, that my life is very limited in its scope of possibilities, I'm going to react a certain way to certain things. If I don't have the ability to be self-aware of what's going down, and I need to stop, reacting a certain way, I don't have that skill, or I don't know how to do breath work, I'm going to react a certain way. If I feel like I suck, I'm going to react a certain way. So this is about skill building, life skills for a lifetime. This is not self-esteem building or whatever. This is like equipping powerful people. All right. And at the bottom here, I put, just in case some of you feel like, oh, my kid's never going to go to school to prison pipeline, da 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 da, and you don't have the empathy to see how this affects all of us. Here, we're very good at making college eligible students, but we're not making college ready students. We're not making life ready students. College students fill up campus mental health facilities at record levels every year at all universities. The rich ones and the state ones, whatever, the community colleges like what I went to. Okay? So this is everywhere. Until we understand that this is all tied together, then we're not going to get anywhere.